Now this will bring us to challenges and opportunities. Okay. I'm not covering all the challenges. Already my team has told. I used to teach in R.A. Podar, so they're telling me, always telling me, sir, बघा घड्याकडे लक्ष ठेवा. हां, सिनियर्स लोकांना तुम्ही बोलवलं आहे, त्याच्या आधी तुम्ही संपलं पाहिजे. म्हटलं हो बाबा. त्याच्यामुळे मी बऱ्याचशा स्लाइड, मेनी ऑफ द स्लाइड्स आय हॅव जस्ट डन अवे विथ. देर आर सो मच ऑफ डेटा, सो मच टू लर्न. एंड मेनी ऑफ माई फ्रेंड्स मंगे डायरेक्ट टैक्स में नहीं है तो क्या बात करेगा तू उसमें ऊपर. लेट अस सी ना क्या बात कर सकते हैं. So India's vibrant demography. So now what is India's strong advantage point in current global scenario? Anyone? Yes? Indigenous demand. Indigenous demand, why? Indigenous demand comes from which factor? Yes? Speak loudly. Hey, internal consumption. So, population. So, indigenous demand is a correct answer, but it emanates from population of India. Okay. So, it's a population. Let us study now how the population is growing. Now, India is home to around 140 crore plus people, and as you must have heard, that India has already surpassed China in 2022 or 23, and it's the most populous country in the world as of now. In this chart, India's population is 140 crore, but most important thing is 65% of the population that is under the age 35, that is 91 crore people, they are under the age 35, and that is the most important positive point, asset for India. Second, 18 to 35, age, between 18 to 35, working population. Why they have not taken 18 to 50 or 18 to 60, but 18 to 35, it's their productivity is more. So, 18 to 35, 60 crore people, that is 42% of the population. Now, population point advantages, someone has said, increased domestic demand, positive demography, and labor force. Now, as per population data, क्या लिखा है? UN World Population Data. Yeah, UN World Population Data. India's population is going to grow for next 4 decades. If you see from 139 crore, it will be 169 crore. आज 140 पे है तो 170 करोड़ हो जाएगा 2060. Now I can connect you to the budget announcement. What budget announcement? Now problem is, this is on the backdrop of when world population is falling. Working population is falling. That is problem for the world, but it is somebody's pain is sometimes our. Now on this background, let us see what China is doing, where China is poised as far as population is concerned. Why China? What is the relevance of China? ये तो China का budget है क्या? नहीं है. Because China is a global industrial powerhouse for decades. Reason क्या है? आज के डेट में भी फिगर इधर उधर हो सकता है, but 20% export, out of total export, 20% export is from China. Global manufacturing output, around 30% comes from China. जब कोविड हुआ था, सब लोग हिल गए थे. क्यों हिल गए थे? अगर चाइना को कुछ हो गया तो हमारी तो बैंड बजेगी. It was not something I have, something more affectionate about China, but Every other country was having their facility in China. And reason क्या था उसका? Huge labor pool, huge, vast talent base. Yes, correct, sir. Low production cost and vast production. Some of my friend, Mr. Oswal, किरीट जी यहाँ है, वो चाइना से मोबाइल इंपोर्ट करते थे. तभी वो सुरेश जी आज नहीं आए, वो मुझे बताते, अरे मंगेश उधर जाके देखो यार, उनका एक एक फैसिलिटी देखो, एक एक फैक्ट्री देखो. So when I have not visited China, but when I read this, that I connected कि ये कुछ तो है. And last but not least, there is business ecosystem. Business ecosystem में मतलब what is business ecosystem? अगर मुझे ये जैकेट सिलाना है ना, तो जैकेट में everything dyeing, everything from buying that cloth to पैकिंग दैट क्लोथ, एवरीथिंग इज कवर्ड. ऐसा नहीं हमारे यहाँ क्या होता है कि हाँ जाओ क्लोथ लेके आओ, मैं डाई करता हूँ, बाद में स्टिचिंग करता हूँ. नो वे. सो दैट इज द बिजनेस इकोसिस्टम दे हैव डेवलप्ड इन चाइना. इट्स समथिंग रियली वंडरफुल. लेकिन कहानी में अभी ट्विस्ट बाकी है. वो ट्विस्ट देखते क्या है. नाउ चाइनाज पॉपुलेशन एज पर द रिपोर्ट इज फॉलिंग and it is going to fall from 2020 142 crores to 108 crores, and they are saying it is going to fall to 80 crores. Now these are not my data, it's not cooked up, this is data from again UN World Population data, as against India is growing. Now is it good enough data? But ये आप तो बोलेंगे अरे ये तो किसी ने किया है ना, किसी ने एस्टिमेट किया है, रॉन्ग भी हो सकता है ना. इट्स नो वंडर ये चाइना की हालत क्यों हुई मालूम है. दैट इज वन चाइल्ड पॉलिसी दे आर इंट्रोड्यूस इन 2070, सॉरी 1970 2000 one child policy, and that one child policy they have implemented so rigorously that their population has fallen down to is falling in 2022. It has fallen by 8.5 lakhs. And this year, double digit fall, 20 lakhs. Only last pertaining to China. Comparison of population aged over 64 years old. In 2020, 14% था चाइना का, हमारा सिर्फ 7% था. लेकिन 2070 में यही 60 और 30% होने वाला है. Now it's a China's crisis, population crisis. They say that China could get old before it gets rich. If you have seen in the newspapers, what they are doing, they are changing, they are giving the incentives. पहले तो उन्होंने वन चाइल्ड पॉलिसी बंद कर दिया, अभी 2 नहीं, अभी 3 भी करो, मतलब वो बोलना नहीं चाहिए ऐसा, मतलब they are giving incentive tax breaks there. हाँ? No, but they are trying to follow us. But Indian government is taking a lesson from China, and that is there in our budget highlights. So that brings us to a moot question. Whether surpassing China in population is good enough? Answer is clearly no. Why? Because China has a vast talent base, business ecosystem. Whether population is advantage India? Population is advantage India, yes or no? Yes. But if you go outside, generally we don't blame our country. अरे हमारे इंडिया में तो इतना गर्दी है. They have hardly few. In Singapore's population is less than Mumbai's population. That is the result they can manage. Don't we? So there are having two sides. Okay? Population advantage भी है and population challenge भी है. How we'll see. The challenge क्या है उसमें? 2 factors. One is quality of education, skilled and unskilled. And second one is our women population out is 69 crore to 70 crore out of the total population. But उसमें से working women कितने हैं? 24%. 24%. You just imagine if this particular working percentage increases, what will happen? How much value it will add to the GDP of my nation? Yes, so this is not hearsay again. This is as per ASAR survey. It's a NGO what they have said, that 25% of the teenager population, that is 14 to 18 years, they cannot even read and write in regional languages. Now, it's a very important point which one has to internally think. उनको अंग्रेजी छोड़ो, उनके regional language में पढ़ना नहीं आ रहा है. And here, that's the reason we have with us a Dean of TIS. She has worked extensively in vocational education. I have told her in our discussion, Madam, you have to brief what we are doing for the skilling and upskilling. So why it is important? It is important, what is the point, that productivity, labor productivity should be increased. Now how labor productivity can be increased? ऐसा तो नहीं है ना कि मैंने एक ढांचा निकाला और उसमें डाल दिया हो गई. Labor productivity increases because of health, other education, skilling and upskilling. And how it is possible? It is only through health sector expenditure and education. These are the two things. So we'll see the expense allocation. Now it is not in random manner I'm taking this point. There is some point I want to make, we'll understand. So education, upskilling. Now what is the skilling and upskilling? Expense allocation देखेंगे. Health. Health का benchmark क्या है? ये benchmark मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. Benchmark है हमारी national health policy है 2017 की. बराबर ना? 2017. Yes. उस वो benchmark में report में लिखा है कि 2.5% of the GDP should be the benchmark. How much we are doing as per report? अभी तो करंट डेटा वो इमीडिएट नहीं मिलता. एज पर रिपोर्ट, नेशनल हेल्थ पॉलिसी रिपोर्ट 1.15%. दैट मीन्स शॉर्टफॉल इज 1.35%. अगेन नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी 6% ऑफ GDP. दैट इज अ ग्लोबल बेंचमार्क. What is actual we are doing is 4.43. That means 1.57% shortfall. One more thing out of the way I'm covering is research and development. 0.70% of GDP. वो जो last year मैंने अभी तो मैंने नहीं देखा, लेकिन it must be in that range only. मेरा 0.70% of GDP है इंडिया का. इजराइल का कितना है? 4%. No wonder वो बंजर में भी खेती कर रहे हैं. No wonder, being so small country, they are taking everyone around, including Hamas. Okay. US का कितना है? 2.9%, Sweden का 3.2%, Switzerland 3.4%. All these are advanced economies. Point I want to make, if you want to become advanced economy from emerging economy or developing economy, what you have to do? You have to spend on R&D. और that is the reason आपने अभी मैं बताता हूँ कि 1 लाख करोड़ प्रोवाइड किया है ना R&D में. 1 लाख करोड़ इंटरेस्ट फ्री लोन for 50 years for R&D. What government is trying to do? Government is trying to facilitate. They understand that if we want to become a Viksit Bharat 2047, then it will not be done with same old story. वो किसी ने बोला था कि अगर आप वही काम करते रहोगे और उसी तरह से करते रहोगे, then you cannot expect extraordinary results. So world is around 1.8%. So shortfall कितना हो रहा है? 4.02% का. 4% शॉर्टफॉल है. सोर्सेस ऑफ फंड कहाँ से आएंगे? आइदर टैक्स इंक्रीज करेंगे हम लोग, बराबर. हाउ डू वी मैनेज? एक तो टैक्स इंक्रीज करना है, एक्सपेंस कम करने हैं, या डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट करना है, नहीं तो मुझे डेप्ट लेना पड़ेगा. सो वील कम टू द नेक्स्ट चैलेंज. सो वी आर स्टार्टेड विथ पॉपुलेशन. पॉपुलेशन में हम लोगों ने क्या देखा कि हाँ, पॉपुलेशन में एक आपको बताता हूँ उन्होंने क्या करेक्टिव एक्शन लिया है सर. दिस टाइम दे हैव फॉर्म्ड अ कमिटी टू रिव्यू द पॉपुलेशन ऑफ इंडिया vis-à-vis demography. And they have mentioned, I think somewhere, that we have to learn from China's crisis. So now we are in good phase, but after 3-4 decades, what will happen? वो मराठी में एक जात्यात आणि सुपात असं म्हणण्याची पद्धत आहे. Now we are here, but tomorrow we will be on the other side. So they want to plug that. Okay. So how do we assess the financials of any entrepreneur or corporate? Anyone? क्विक. फाइनेंशियल कैसे असेस करते हो? क्विक. यस, net worth of the person, that is one. Liquidity, yes. Revenue, yes. Profitability. So financial indicators quickly. Revenue, savings, net worth, yes Amit, you are correct. और एक रहता है बोराइंग, मेरा सब कुछ अच्छा है, कोविड में वही लोग सर्वाइव हुए जिनके बोराइंग्स कम थे, बराबर ना सर, आनंद सर? Who are overly debt, they cannot survive because everything has come to standstill. So debt risk factors क्या है? अगर मैं बोरोइंग ले रहा हूँ, मेरा बोरोइंग है, तो मेरा रिस्क फैक्टर क्या हो सकता है? पहले तो एक मेरा रिपेमेंट पीरियड, many a times if repayment period is short, there is a risk of rollover. Risk of rollover मतलब क्या? कि मैंने 2 साल के लिए लिया 50 लाख का कर्जा फॉर बाइंग हाउस, 2 साल के बाद मैं क्या करूँगा? मैं कहाँ से पैसा लूँगा? रिस्क ऑफ रोल ओवर. सो रिपेमेंट पीरियड इज इंपॉर्टेंट. Weighted average maturity period, they say. Then cost of funds is available, important. What is the cost of funds? Or debt structure is important. So from this perspective, we will see now which is the act. You know everyone, which is that FRBM Act. Yes, Fiscal Risk Budget Management Act. उसके हिसाब से फिजिकल डेफिसिट 3% होना चाहिए. मतलब अभी मेरा कितना है फिजिकल डेफिसिट? 5.8%. लेकिन ये फिजिकल डेफिसिट FRBM एक्ट भी है, वो रिप्लेस करना चाहते थे. ऑलरेडी दे हैव ब्रॉट दैट बिल, नॉट येट पास, ड्राफ्ट डेट मैनेजमेंट फिजिकल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बिल. उसके हिसाब से उन्होंने ना परसेंटेज को छोड़ ही दिया है. परसेंटेज उसने 3% के लिए बात नहीं. अभी वो क्या बोल रहे हैं? मैंडेट्स डेट टू GDP रेशो शुड बी 60%, जो अभी आपका हमारा 80 to 85% है. ओके, but slowly and gradually they are saying you make it. But this FRBM Act to be replaced, time to tell when it will be replaced. हाँ, अभी I'll come to the why debt is important. International Monetary Fund, somewhere in December, in their report, Article 4 consultation report, what they have said, they have warned India. Why they have warned India? On 2 grounds. One is sovereign debt risk. In the medium term, they are saying sovereign debt risk is moderate. So far, so good. In long term, they are saying high. Anyone is inclination, a same organization, why they are saying that in the medium term it is moderate, and it is long term, it's high. Any reason, any inclination? Anyone? No? अगर मेरा मीडियम टर्म में तो लॉन्ग टर्म में भी होना चाहिए ना. रीजन क्या बता रहे हो कि पेरिस समिट में इंडिया हैज टेकन अ गोल. लास्ट टाइम में मुझे बोला 2070 तक हम 0 कार्बन एमिशन कंट्री बनना चाहते हैं. Now climate change, it's a big topic. Again, I will not take much of a time on that, but climate change is a big threat than our neighbor, and they say that it will create havoc to the global economy. अगर मैं 2070 तक का 0 कार्बन एमिशन बनना चाहता हूँ तो that will require a considerable investment. वो considerable investment कहाँ से आएगी? वापिस आपको डेप्ट ही लेना पड़ेगा अगर आपकी इकोनॉमी उस पैमाने में बढ़ती नहीं है तो. सो दैट इज द रीजन दे आर सेइंग लॉन्ग टर्म इज अ हाई रिस्क. वन मोर पॉइंट दे हैव मेंशन दैट इन वर्स्ट सिनारियो, अगर कोविड जैसा कुछ बाद में होता है तो हमारा डेप्ट, इंडिया का डेप्ट 100% के ऊपर जा सकता है, GDP के 100% के ऊपर. और अगर फेवरेबल सिचुएशन में दे आर सेइंग इट विल कम टू 70% ऑफ द डेप्ट. दे आर गिवन दिस एनालिसिस, Article 4 consultation, and it's very important for everyone. Now let us see on this background what are our outstanding liabilities. ये लास्ट ईयर का डेटा है, लेकिन 86 to 85% में मेरा परसेंटेज ऑफ आउटस्टैंडिंग लाइबिलिटी है to GDP. Again, it's a data point. मैं इंटरेस्ट कितना दे रहा हूँ? इंटरेस्ट इफ यू सी 11.90 लाख करोड़ और मेरा टैक्स रेवेन्यू रिसीट है 38.30 लाख करोड़. So out of my tax receipt, around 25% I am paying for interest. So ये problem इतनी बड़ी है और that is the reason this year they are talking about fiscal consolidation. Fiscal consolidation मतलब क्या? बहुत कर्जा ले लिया, अभी मैं थोड़ा I will be conservative. From 6.5% to 5.9%, 5.9% budgeted fiscal deficit था. Fiscal deficit मतलब borrowing, simple. वो उन्होंने 5.8% पे लाया है. और next year they are saying 5.1%. That is March 25. March 26 they are saying 4.5%. So they have their mind clear on that. अभी let us see what are the benchmark. Debt parameters के benchmark देखेंगे. कि ये सारा होने के बाद हाउ वी आर पॉइज्ड एज अ, हमारी डेप्ट कैसी है? सारा तो नेगेटिव पेंट करके देखो, इट इज वेरी इजी टू पॉइंट आउट टू द गवर्नमेंट, बट हैड वी बीन इन देयर पोजिशन व्हाट वी कुड हैव डन, दैट वी टू सी. एंड व्हाट आर द पैरामीटर्स, डेप्ट पैरामीटर्स? फर्स्ट डेप्ट पैरामीटर एज वी आर सेड शेयर ऑफ शॉर्ट टर्म डेट. तो बेंचमार्क कितना है मालूम है? 11% है. इफ यू सी इन ब्लू इट्स अ benchmark is 11%. As again हमारा कितना है? 12% ही है. So we are better poised. No problem on that. Share of external debt. Share of external debt मैंने फॉरेन एक्सचेंज में कितना डेप्ट लिया है बाहर से कंट्री से, वो बेंचमार्क है 60% रहेगा तो आपका अच्छा है. लेकिन उन्होंने कितना लिया है? अभी अपना कितना है? 5%. So we are better placed in this parameter also. So weighted average maturity, जैसे मैंने बताया कि वेटेड एवरेज मैच्योरिटी मतलब मेरा शॉर्ट टर्म में कोई कर्जा देना बाकी है क्या, आने वाला है क्या, तो वेटेड एवरेज मैच्योरिटी 12 साल के बाद है. दैट इज बेंचमार्क. और मेरी कितनी है? 11.71. सो स्टिल आई एम ऑन ऑल दिस पैरामीटर्स वी आर दैट वे डूइंग गुड. दिस इज द डेटा सेज. नाउ वी आर फ्रैंकली एज फार एज these parameters are concerned, debt, all these parameters we can manage. But what about that parameter which is not in our hand? That is global uncertainty. And global uncertainty, I have been discussing with Hemant कि हेमंत मैं आपको है ना, मुझे आपको क्लैरिटी देना है इसके बारे में कि इसका इम्पैक्ट क्या हो रहा है, समझ में नहीं आता है. यूक्रेन कभी चालू हुआ? 2022 में. इजराइल कभी चालू हुआ? अक्टूबर 2023 में. अभी इजराइल का फॉलोआउट क्या हुआ कि हाउदी some terrorists they are obstructing Red Sea channel. हमारा ऑयल इंपोर्ट है 80% बाहर से, 80% ऑयल हम लोग बाहर से लेते हैं. वी आर बैंकिंग ऑन दैट. व्हाट विल हैपन? माई ट्रांसपोर्ट कॉस्ट विल इंक्रीज. नाउ दिस RBI bulletin they have said geopolitical risk indicator. In September 23 it was hardly something. If you see I have not got the actual figures, but the graph projects that December 23 my geopolitical risk, not only for India, across the globe, it has increased. Now we are prone, now as a India because of the global economy, we are not insulated by the global events. We are equally impacted by the global event. जब भी चाइना में कोविड हुआ था जनवरी में, कुछ नहीं हमारे वो तो कुछ नहीं होने. It's not that. So last will come inequality of income. So on this, who is a taxpayer? Yes, from audience, please, who is a taxpayer in your definition? Yes? Why? Why common man? I would say a person who pays income tax is a taxpayer, is it not? Yes. A person who files the return, he is a taxpayer. पर हे पूर्ण सत्य आएगा, is a full truth. I beg to differ, because taxpayer in every other person is every other person who pays tax in essence, and which includes indirect tax. So कभी भी हम लोग ऐसा बोलते हैं ना, क्या मैं रिटर्न फाइल करिए, आप तो टैक्स भी नहीं भरते. और मैं एक डेटा बताता हूँ इसके, बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग डेटा है. जस्ट सी दिस डेटा. एक ऑक्सफैम की रिपोर्ट थी 2023 में. वो ऑक्सफैम इंडिया इज अ एनजीओ. व्हाट दे हैव सेड that bottom 50% share of taxes in food and non-food items, bottom 50% is contributing 65% of the tax. Middle 40% contributing 32% of the tax, and top 10% contributing only 4% of the tax. And on this, अभी हम लोग ने देखा ना जीएसटी रूपी कम्स फ्रॉम जीएसटी में 19% आ रहा था कुछ, तो जीएसटी आर एट पार विद द इनकम टैक्स. सो अगर मेरा 50% जीएसटी है और 50% में से मैं अगर पकड़ूँ 95% आर पेड बाय पीपल हु आर डाउन 90%, so 45% of taxes are borne by those whom otherwise we point out the fingers that they are not paying taxes. So this is some snippets of what is given in that report. That gap between rich and poor is widening. Top 1% of India owns 40.5%, 40% of total wealth in 2021. And 50% of the population has around 3% of the total wealth. This is statistics of 21. Now, उन्होंने भी क्या recommendation दी है वो भी ध्यान में रखो. Recommendation क्या है कि national health policy, वही they are also referring to national health policy, कि उतना आप खर्चा करो. National education policy उतना आप खर्चा करो 6% and 2.5%. And resources उन्होंने क्या बोले हैं कि resources through taxing the wealth of the richest. Taxing the wealth of the richest. Now it's a very easy solution. But whether those easy solutions are right solutions, that we have to see. I disagree with that recommendation. Why I am telling you? Okay, quickly. If you see the option 1, they are given increase the taxes. It will have impact on economy. It has inherent constraints. Correct? Is it a right way? No. Because already, if I increase the taxes, one would say that I am not business friendly. India is having a regressive taxation, which is against the global parameters. If globally tax is 20%, why India is taxing at 30%? So taxation is not the option. Option 2 is that increase in borrowing. Again, we have seen increase in borrowing, there is a cap. What is the possible options? One is disinvestment, लेकिन disinvestment में हम लोग slow जा रहे हैं. Increase in tax base, that is another option. Increase in tax base, as we have discussed, how many of you have got the refund immediately after filing within 7 or 8 days? How many of, please raise your hand. Couple of. Huh? 3 days, that's okay, 3 days. So, don't tell me. This is too much. So 3 hours में अगर वो रिफंड दे रहे हैं तो आप just imagine, वो पिक्चर था just imagine, वही मैं सोचता हूँ आजकल just imagine. हाँ sir, Singh sir is asking when they are going to do it in 3 minutes. Then we have to check whether it is my refund. But sir, frankly, that's 3 hours is really, I was also, but point is, government आपसे 2 कदम नहीं 10 कदम आगे चल रहे हैं. It's a just coincidence my surname is Kadam, but they are 10 कदम आगे चल रहे हैं. Okay. I have told you the discussion between CBDT chairman and CBSE chairman, there are so much जो आप दोस्तों से नहीं, आप अपने वाइफ से नहीं बात करते उतने वो बात कर रहे हैं. Not physically, but through medium. There is an exchange of data. And that is the reason tax-based improvement is possible. Abhi, I will tell you one more thing, कि कौन सा commission 15 commission report. 15 commission report. अभी अपना GDP आपने देखा ना 5.6%, 6% गया tax to GDP ratio. 15 commission report somewhere in 2015-16 they are already mentioned in their report that India has a scope of increasing their tax base, and your tax to GDP ratio there is a scope for improvement by 5%. by 5%. So that means they are going to increase the tax base by hook or crook to 11%. So that is an alarm for those who are earning and not paying the taxes. Okay. Not for those. Okay. Now I'll come to the final things. Now there are challenges, there are opportunities we have discussed. There are certain things in population में मैं बता दिया कि उन्होंने क्या किया. Regarding allocation of expenditure also, allocation of expenditure we'll take it from our panelists कि उन्होंने what they have done regarding education and health and R&D. R&D का तो we have discussed. Debt के बारे में fiscal consolidation उन्होंने चालू किया है. Okay, so they are taking action. Now what is way forward? Now way forward, we have always two choices in given moment. Always two choices. There are always options for choosing easy things in life. Is it not? Yes? Easy things. But easy things leads us to hard life. Do you agree with this? Easy options, easy choices lead us to hard life. But hard choices which gives pain, that leads to easy life. Is it not? And getting up from the individual perspective, getting up from the bed in the morning, it's a easy choice or hard choice? Easy choice or hard choice? It's a hard choice. Choosing between Netflix, ये कॉर्ड पे लगा. So choosing between Netflix and personal development, is it a easy choice or a hard choice? It's a hard choice, personal development. So when you are doing, so you see this image, it's there. Are switch. Yeah. Now you can see this easy decisions. Okay. When you are going in the easy decisions, you are on a joyride. Everything, you are momentary pleasures. But you land up in hard life. Is it not? Hard decisions. If you see, in hard decisions, in 2024, we as a nation climbing a mountain as of now. In 2027, where we will go to 5 trillion economy. And 2030, we will go to 10 trillion economy. Now these are the hard decisions of climbing that mountain as a nation. When climbing the mountain, क्या होता है? Everyone has experienced that. क्या होता है? सांस फूलती है. हाँ? ऐसा लगता है कभी मैं बैठ जाऊं. जहां हूं वहां ही बैठ जाऊं. उतरू भी नहीं और चढ़ू भी नहीं. आती है ना फीलिंग? तो वही फीलिंग एज ए नेशन मुझे भी आएगी. एज ए नेशन मुझे भी आ सकती है. बट if you want to make it to 2030, and if you want to make it to vision of 2047, हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा? Easy decisions क्या है? Lack of fiscal deficit easy decision है. Populist measures ले सकती है ना गवर्नमेंट. Economic equality पे, inequality पे मैं इग्नोर कर सकता हूँ. That is a easy decision. Climate change में इग्नोर कर सकता हूँ. और मैं आज नहीं, सिर्फ 2-3 डिकेड्स का देखता हूँ, आगे का नहीं देखूंगा. बट व्हाट इज द हार्ड डिसीजन? हार्मोनी विथ नेचर, फिजिकल डिसिप्लिन, इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ. आई एम नॉट पिकिंग अप दिस वर्ड फ्रॉम द बजट स्नैपशॉट. आई बिलीव व्हाट आई एम पुटिंग बिफोर यू. एंड लास्ट एंड not the least one, reform, perform and transform. This I have taken. Why I have taken from this? Unless we take the reform measures, and taking reform measures will not be good enough, but implementing those measures, that is performing what I say, that will transform the country, transform us as a nation. And we will reach to our vision of 2047 as one of the advanced economy and economic superpower. But for transformation, what is needed is mindset change. Do you agree with me? Mindset change, है ना? Scarcity mindset तो हो नहीं सकता. General belief क्या रहता है? देखो ना, frankly, I'm saying that general belief, we are more critic that जो भी करना है वो central dispensation करेगा, state dispensation करेगा, it's their duty. However, transformation, if you see, it should be at all levels. If you want to see that our nation, अभी किसी हर एक को लग रहा है ना, 140 crores minds are speaking. Because nation prosper, we are bound to prosper. Is it not? So transformation shall be at state level. It should be at local authority level, Zilla Parishad, Gram Panchayat, bureaucracy. Now all top bureaucrats are with me. So mindset should be at all level. Private sector, administration. But one more transformation required. Last but not the least, we as citizens, we need to change the mindset, our mindset as well. And we as the citizen has the immense responsibility to change, to make our nation as a superpower by 2047. So on this positive note, I conclude my today's presentation. Thank you very much. I request Tanvi to take over now. Thank you.